Nintendo has been on a roll when it comes to their first-party titles this 2023, with games like Pikmin 4, Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom all getting positive receptions. But Nintendo clearly isn't done yet, as they just released the remake of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, a spin-off released back in 1996, developed by famed Final Fantasy creator Squaresoft. It instantly became one of the most beloved Nintendo titles because of how unique it was from the usual Super Mario gameplay and brought innovations to the RPG genre. This remake has some big shoes to fill, and we can safely say that the folks over at Nintendo have brought their absolute A game when it came to making this title. So join us over here at Game8 as we take a look at Super Mario RPG. This is the video adaptation of our review over at our website. Click the link in the description to read the full review. Super Mario RPG's main story is exactly like the originals, weird, wacky, and chock full of fun moments. The game starts off with a tale as old as time. The King of Koopas, Bowser, is kidnapping Princess Peach, and Mario is here to save her. But that's pretty much as far as it goes when it comes to story similarities with the other games in the franchise. As befitting a game that was originally worked on by Squaresoft, the plot is equal parts convoluted and fantastical, blending the diverse worlds in and outside the Mushroom Kingdom with the looming threat of the Smithy Gang. There's never a dull moment in the game, as every nook and cranny is filled to the brim with witty dialogue and wacky side quests from the various characters you'll meet in your playthrough. So whether you're a veteran who played the original game 30 years ago or an absolute newcomer curious about the hype, don't worry, because the story has so much charm that anyone can get into it. Video game remakes have been getting pretty popular recently. Remakes like Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space show us just how great it can be when modernizing an old game. And we're happy to say that Nintendo understood the mission when it came to revamping Super Mario RPG's gameplay. They've not changed how the game looks, but how it plays by adding a ton of really good gameplay changes. One of our favorite changes to the game was the inclusion of the action button prompts, which makes timing the button press a whole lot easier, especially since there are a lot of incentives when it comes to executing them perfectly. By activating your button inputs at the right time, you can build up a chain of buffs that increases your team's overall stats, like speed and attack power. Another thing that the remake adds are the triple move attacks. By having 3 characters and a filled up action gauge found on the lower left, you can trigger a cutscene in which the active trio performs a powerful move. The effect of this move is dependent on who's on the field. For example, a combination of Mario, Geno, and Mallow allows you to send out an attack that deals massive damage, but if you swap out Geno for Peach, the triple move then becomes a team-wide heal. Aside from these combat revamps, Super Mario RPG offers some other quality of life changes, like a storage box at Mario's house that holds all the items you pick up after hitting max capacity. Players will also have access to a breezy game mode that's unique to the remake, a mode that lowers the game's overall difficulty and is accessible at all times. The best combat systems are the ones that are simple to understand but difficult to master. Just like the original, Super Mario RPG has a combat system that was exactly that. With its action commands, careful skill balancing, and secret mechanics, it will no doubt draw in new players with its simplicity and amaze longtime players with its surprising depth. Putting the 1996 version next to the 2023 version, the graphical changes are as clear as day. And while just updating a game's graphics to the modern day doesn't always yield good results, this remake's 3D overhaul breathes new life into Super Mario RPG. Series mainstays like Mario, Peach, and Bowser have had 3D models for some time now. But the game doesn't just take those models and throw them in haphazardly into some isometric world. Instead, it still retains that stubby art style which makes even the mainstay members of Mario's crew distinct from their appearance in other games. Aside from the characters' redesigns, the game's environment just looks amazing. In the very early stages of the game, we get to see Mario's house, which has some pretty cool stuff, like his multiple wrenches and his extra hats, which makes us wonder, where is Luigi? It would have been cool if we saw him just hanging around, but he's nowhere to be found. This was a case in which it was a bit too faithful to the original. Apart from the graphical improvements, the remake also provides quality of life changes to system menus and combat UI. Characters' health bar and flower point count are now visible at the bottom of the screen at all times for easier tracking, instead of only showing up when it's the player's turn in the original. Finally, probably most excitingly, Super Mario RPG presents some brand new cutscenes during important story segments, making the game much livelier than before. No longer do we need to rely on our imagination watching a few sprites stiffly interact with each other. These cutscenes are wacky and colorful, adding a lot more for the eyes to eat from its already impressive lineup of visual feasts. Super Mario RPG's original composer, Yoko Shimomura, returns to work on the remaster's musical score, giving her previous work a refreshing spin that is sure to excite longtime fans and newcomers alike. The soundtrack is an impeccable homage to the original game's musical score, featuring remade versions of our favorite tracks. Though the game does not feature any voice acting aside from the usual grunts and shouts that Mario makes, the music alone still manages to convey the motion and intensity of each scene, world, and boss fight we come across. While the remake plays through with that updated musical score, a bonus feature that we really appreciate is the option to listen to the SNES score. By switching it from the music select menu, those looking for a more nostalgia-heavy experience can just close their eyes and take that trip back to 1996. Super Mario RPG is a hit of concentrated nostalgia delivered directly to your veins in glorious 3D. And for those who are too young to have experienced it in its original form, the game provides a wonderful, easy to jump into version that will still show the core of this game that still holds up so many years later. This game is a true remake among remakes, as it was able to capture the charm that the original game had while implementing small but smart combat updates that streamlined an already amazing gameplay loop. And because of this, we're giving Super Mario RPG a 9 out of 10. Now, we just need a proper remake of the original Super Mario Strikers and some of us will finally be complete. But what about you? What game would you like to see Nintendo make and remake? Tell us in the comments below. This has been GameMate signing off.